Hello friends, we this is a continuation of the previous video on the Banker's algorithm. The last video we saw an example wherein a system was in a safe state. So we'll see one more example and let's see if the system is no. So this is the problem which is and actually it's the same problem what we have, only allocated column I have changed. So available tape drives with us is 12 still, and we have to calculate. So first step, if you remember, we had started by calculating the need column. So need column was your max need minus the allocated, so that was 5. 4 minus 2 is again 2, and 9 minus 3 here is 6, right? Next we had done the summation of the allocated, so allocated summation here would be 5 plus 2 7 plus 10. Okay, so once we have the we can calculate the available, that is here given total resources. So total resources we have been given and allocated that we have found is 10. So 12 minus 10 we are getting it to be 2. Alright, so the next we have to do here is we have to check if we can give these resources to each of these processes. So when I see process 0, its need is 5 and we have available with us just 2 resources, so definitely it cannot be served. Can I get for P1? Yes, its need is 2 and my available is also 2, so the safe state first process that comes in is P1. Okay, so when I allocate P1 these 2 resources, it will release the resources that it already is having. So the available will change now. The previous available here was 2 plus the resources that P1 was holding, that is it was holding 2 processes that was allocated to it, so that will be added here. So 2 plus 2, that is equal to available, will become 4, right? So now we will go to the next process and check if we can allocate it to it. So P2 requires 6, we have 4, so we cannot. P0 requires 5 and we have available with us just 4, so definitely we cannot serve the request of both P0 and P2 because that many resources are not available. So that's why the system is not safe, or we can call it as in here the system is in unsafe state because all the processes cannot be executed successfully. So that's the basics of your Banker's algorithm. Now we'll see a proper example of Banker's algorithm. Okay, it's here. Now in this Banker's algorithm, what are we given is A equals 10. That means we have 3 different these are not the processes, as in these are the resources. There are 3 different resources, that is A, B and C. Resource A total count is 10, resource B total count is 5, resource C total count is 7, and we have been given 5 processes here. Each process, how many resources of or how many units of each resource are allocated is given here, and what's its actual need, max need for that particular resource is also given here. So the first thing that we were doing till now was to calculate the remaining need. So you can do the same thing here as well, calculate the remaining need. So for each resource it will be separate remaining need. So for resource 1 of process 1 would be max need minus the allocation. So its max need is 7 and its allocation is 0, so it will be 7. For resource B, it's 5 over here and it's 1 over here, so 5 minus 1, it will be 4. So that's what I've written here, max need minus allocated. That's what you have to do for finding the remaining need. And for for resource C, we have to do 3 minus 0, that's giving you 3. Same way you have to do for the other processes as well. So 3 minus 2, it's giving you 1 here. You should be careful while calculating this values, because you might consider some different resource value for different process, so there should not be any confusion. So you should be careful while checking which resource you are considering. So 2 minus 0 will be 2, next is 2 minus 0 will be again 2. So here it is 9 minus 3 is 6. Next 0 minus 0 is 0, and 2 minus 2 is again 0. Next here we have 4, here we have 2, so 4 minus 2 will be 2. Then 2 minus 1 will be 1, and 2 minus 1 will be again 1. Lastly we have process 5. For process 5, resource A will be 5 minus 0 is 5, so 0 is 3, and 3 minus 2 is 1. Alright, so that's the remaining need that we have. The next thing that we did was calculating the available. So initial available resources, how many are there? For that, first we need to do is the addition of the allocation or the allocated resources. So allocated or allocation resources are over here, so I'll just sum up all of them. So it is 2 plus 3 5 plus 2 is 7. Here 1 plus 1 is 2, and 2 plus 1 plus 2 is 5. So this means that allocated resources or the allocated units of resource A are 7, allocated units of resource B are 2, allocated units of resource C are 5. So let's calculate the available one. Okay, so when I calculate available I need to just calculate initially the available value. So I think we have A equals 10 over here, which is 10, so it is 10 minus how many are allocated is 7, right? So 10 minus 7, that is equal to 3, right? Next, for B process or for B resource, available or the given total is 5 minus allocated here is 2, so that's 3 available. And for process C, or sorry, resource C, we have total 7 minus allocated are 5, so 7 minus 5 is equal to 2. So this is your initial available. So this initial available, whatever values you got, you can directly write them here. 3, B resource is 3, and this is 2. I think this will be easier for you to solve if you have all the values in one table itself, rather than just going on writing about it. So now these are the available that we have in the first time slot. So in 332 we'll just check which process can be served. So can we serve process 1? How do I check it? So I should see what is the remaining need for process 1. It's of resource A, it's 7. What is the available? It's 3, so I cannot serve the first resource itself, so there's no point checking for the further resources. We'll just check for process 2. Process 2's remaining need for resource A is 1. We have 3. Yes, we can go ahead. Next, for resource B, we have 2 units and it's available, sorry, it requires 2 and we have available 3, so again we can serve it. So let's check for resource 3, that is C. So we have available 2 and need 2, that means definitely this process can be served. So that is process P2 will be your first process to be served. So I'll just write it here, process P2. Okay, so now after process P2 we need to again calculate what's available, because as we have already seen, for the single resource, available keeps on changing once the resources are allocated to a particular process. So now for finding available, what we need to do here is what is the previous available for resource A. For resource A, the previous available was 3, so that I can add it to the resource that was allocated to process 2, the number of units of resource A that was allocated to process 2, because I just now showed you just for one resource. So the same thing we need to apply here, that is the resource A units that process 2 is holding is 2. So once it is finished with its execution, it will release this. So I will add it here. So 3 plus 2 will become 5. Okay, so for resource, what was the previous available that we are getting from here? That was 3. Now how many units did process 2 held? Nothing, so that remains same. And your C process, or the C resource available was 2, that we can see here. And how many are released by process 2? There is nothing, so again it remains same. So now the new available that we have is A equals 5, B equals 3, and C equals 2. So that I will write over here, that is 5, next is 3, and next is 2. Alright, so that's the next available that we have. So next, check for the next process now, that is process 3. So checking for process 3, what is the remaining need it has is 6, and we have 5 for resource A. So definitely we need not check the further resources because it's not suiting here itself. Next, check for process 4. Process 4's need for A is 2, and we have available is 5, so yes, we can serve. Let's check for B. B is need is 1 and available is 3, so yes, we can do that. And C also is 1 and available is 2, so again this can be served easily. So we'll check the next process that we have in line is P4. Alright, so we'll do the changes for the available now. Okay, okay, so now available we'll just go to P4, that's over here. So P4, first A was 5, right? So I have to just add to it. How many resources did P4 had of A? That is 2, so 5 plus 2 will give me 7. Next we need to check for B. So how much did it had B? What was the previous B? That is 3. So 3 plus, I need to just check here, that's 1, so that becomes 4. And next is C. Okay, so C had previously we had 2, so now we have to add plus. And how many did P4 had? That's just 1, so it will release that and it will become now 3. So your new values of your A, B and C are here. So A is 7 available, B is 4 available, and C is 3. Alright, so the next thing we have already done with the 2 processes, so we'll just check out for the next process. So can we serve process P5 next? Because available we have is 7, remaining need is 3, so we can. Here available is 4, remaining is 3, we can. And here again available is 3 and we need is 1, so definitely next would be your P5. So if I write here P5, so next available here would be for A, it is previously we had here 7, so for A it was 7 plus how much did P5 held already of resource A? That's 0, so you don't have to change it. For B it was previously available was 4, and how many did this had? Nothing, so again it remains same. And C is equal to 3 was the previous value, that's over here. And process 5 was holding 2, so it will release those 2 and you, so that's it here, so that's equal to 5. So now the new available values that we are getting here is 7 and B is 4 and C is 5. Alright, so that's the next value. And so we have already written that it is P5 that we have served. Okay, so after P5 next we need to check which is the next value that we need to see. here. So P5 we have P1 and check if we can serve P1 now. So it requires 7, the need is 7 and available is 7, so we can serve it. Here the need is 4 and available is also 4, so we can serve it. Here the need is 3 and available is 5, so definitely the next process could be your P1. So I can directly say that available will be changing for P1, that is the previous available for A was 7 and it didn't had any resources of A, so I'll just write it as 7. This had previously we had 4 but it had 1, so it will release this 1, so it will become 4 plus 1, that's your 5. And C resource was available was 5, and obviously P1 was not holding anything, so it will remain as it is and it will be new available value 5. The remaining process that we have with us is, I think, P3 is remaining, so we'll check for the P3. So its need is 6, we have 7. Its need is 0, we have 5. Its need is 0, again we have 5, so definitely it can be served, and we know that the system is in the safe state, so I'll just write it here, P3. And why are we saying that it's in a safe state? Because we could execute all the 5 processes safely without any problem. So now we will check what is the available that we are getting after serving P3. So what was the available previously was 7 and it was holding 3, so it will be 11. This previously available was 5, it was not holding anything, so this will remain 5. And C available was 5 and it was holding 2, so this will become 5 plus 2, that's 7. So this is your final available resources, and you can cross check your answer by just checking whatever is given. I think here I made a mistake, it's not 11, it's 10. This is 7 because this is 7 and this is 3, so 7 plus 3 is 10, so 10, 5 and 7. And these are the finally available resources after all the processes have finished execution and they have released all these resources. And here if you can see in the question also, it was given the same. A was 10, B was 5 and C was 7, so that's how you can answer. And the safe state sequence is P2, P4, P5, P1, P3. I hope you all have understood how to solve it. It's a little bit lengthy, but if you keep practicing, it will be easy to solve. Thank you for watching my video. Please subscribe my channel. Thank you.